Alright, let's get into it. So, here's the latest. We're going to talk about liars. Let's talk about it. You know, when I was a kid, and when you're a kid, you know when someone is pulling something over on you. You know, the only time we ignore that instinct is because our parents or teachers or whatnot tell us, play nice and just go along with it. At some point, especially if it's something where, like, you know something's really wrong, you want to fight really hard for it. I know I used to be like that. I still am. But then something happens with a lot of kids is they just give up. Right? You ever feel like that? And then you go along with the lie. And the next thing you know, the rest of your life, you're programmed to consent to so many different lies. And the word lie seems very strong. You know, liar, you're a liar. Let's pull back for a minute. And instead of it being so harsh, the idea is that people consent to wrong belief, or maybe a belief system that might possibly benefit them for a moment, or as an excuse to not really deal with the big root of what is happening. We do that in a lot of different ways. Or we're not willing to be really honest with what's truly wrong. I read this article the other day where children with anxiety, they don't tell you, or they don't tell their parents, you know, hey, I've got major anxiety and I'm really stressed out about the family situation, or I'm stressed out about blah, blah, blah. They just say my tummy hurts. Now you take that example to so many things that happen in our world where we don't really want to confront the elephant in the room, especially if we've had a hand in creating the elephant or getting the elephant into the room in the first place. So, but we want to release this sense of somewhat acknowledgement without fully identifying or allowing ourselves to be vulnerable, right? Yeah. So how does this play a part in now world events? You figure 60 years ago when Vietnam was happening and the whole seedlings of the sex trafficking, drug trafficking, learning about how you can rejuvenate yourself from, or there's an economy for it, through basically recycling people through war and all these other things. It's a big moneymaker. There's so many people that were smaller people, or maybe they were in higher positions. They were going to go along with it because even if they went against it, who was going to listen? And they'd be out. They'd be out of a job, they'd be out of a life, they'd be out of a lifestyle, all these different things. And so, but then you drop little nuggets because your conscience gets the best of you. And you drop little nuggets to try to, like, I guess, relieve your sense of guilt. But the thing is that now everything's come to a head. We were told, I mean, for goodness sake, people were told that it was healthy to have, you know, Spam. You know, that we were told it was totally okay to do so many different things that now we know the fruit of it. People have lost their lives to so many different things. They've lost their looks, they've lost their energy, they've lost their finances, they've lost their home to different levels of lies. And it's all coming out. You know, what it really comes down to is that eating healthy, live, real food that comes out of the ground actually benefits you the most. Who knew? Not putting chemicals on your body or in your ground like Monsanto was trying to tell everybody. Guess what? It's all coming out. And now with everything that came out with Mueller and all these things, look guys, it's been 60 years of the establishment creating an entire multi-level economy off of warfare and the derivatives of it. And I said 2 years ago, it's over. Like, I knew it. I knew it was done. Like, they're coming up. It's not going to happen anymore, which is really great. It's been a long journey, you know, and for those who have spoken about it before it was mass acceptable, you know, it was difficult because this is the thing with AI. AI, and this may go over a few people's heads, but hopefully just listen carefully. It's important. AI can be a monitor. So for the few people that are talking about certain things that are truthful, those that want to know who's saying what can quickly find out before it gets popular, and they spin it on their platforms that they already have that immediately go to millions of people, and they tell everybody that those folks are the enemy. And they spin it to call them all kinds of names, to character assassinate them, to destroy any kind of connection in their own community, when in fact it was the truth, and it actually was going to free people. So just keep that in mind the next time that you might hear from mass media that someone's the bad guy. Because there were a lot of us 20 years ago that knew that anything that the press says, you got to think the opposite, because it's a gatekeeper. It's been a gatekeeper for all those corporations that supposedly so many young social justice warriors want to break down. They're the ones listening to that too and believing it. So, point of fact, focus on your local government, focus on your local community, you know, invest in your own community, whether that's through real estate, which is a beautiful way to create abundance in your life, the local artisans, getting out there and putting your best foot forward in where you're at right then. Not by coming at it from a standpoint of, I've got to fight the enemy that the television told me I needed to. Just go out there and be a great person to the people around you. Wouldn't that be a lovely thing? I want to have this video also be a big announcement of hope. So for the few that have listened to me over the past few years for my here and there videos, it was all about confronting a lot of things that were going on. And also there's an idea that all people that have wealth or that have abundance must be part of the negativity. And I want you to understand that's not true. It's not true. You can't change the world and be poor, where your resource is going to be to actually be the focus of making amazing things happen. And that was something that I fell into, that mentality. Is like somehow I'm being virtuous by staying away from money and working beyond it. But you realize too many times your hands are tied in the things and the dreams and the ideas that you truly want to have happen in the world. And why are we giving all that power to the bad guys?